This is Dr. Zeb, and welcome to the Rehab Christian Center Tuesday night virtual experience. I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. I'm so grateful that you've tuned in and to share with us. Listen, man, I'm so excited about part two, the danger of focusing on negative things. That's what we're dealing with tonight. And it's so crazy how this works. If you tuned in Sunday's message really tied in perfectly and seamlessly with part two of tonight. So much so that I ran out of time on Sunday and was going to just continue on tonight. And then it hit me. Wait a minute. What we talked about the last Tuesday we met, the focus of the danger of focusing on the negative things, part one, really tied in seamlessly with this whole idea of making sure that when in our lives that we are positioning ourselves in every way possible. This is important that we are positioning ourselves in every way possible to do the things necessary to change our ways. And so the way Sunday and tonight is really connecting is just really crazy. But I'm just excited to be here with you tonight and grateful to be here. Listen, I want you to start liking this video. I want you to start sharing this video right now because I want to jump right into this message. I have not too long ago gotten off the plane. I am exhausted. It has been a long travel day. I've been up since about 3:30 this morning, and so, but I dare not miss life study. I wanted to be a part of life study tonight, and I wanted to be here to share this with you. And this is going to be powerful. Wow! Happy birthday, brother Lamorris. Wow! It looks like he's celebrating his 40th birthday on today. And we certainly are saying, wishing you, brother Lamorris, a happy birthday, man. Thank you so much for your faithfulness. You tune in faithfully every single week. And just so grateful that you've done that. And just grateful that God has allowed you to see the big four. Oh, man, that's a blessing. And thank you so much for letting us know that on tonight. Y'all do me a favor, start liking this video, sharing this video. I want to walk through the networks really quickly. And then after I walk through the networks, I want to dive right into this message, give you a couple of bullet points. I promise not to be very long tonight. But I do want to take about 30, 35 minutes and walk through some very critical things as it relates to the way you think. Because the reality is, when your thinking is negative, it has the ability to really impact every area of your life. Negative thinking can truly impact every area of your life. And so I want you to really be tuned in tonight, tapped in tonight. For what will be a very powerful word. Let's go through the networks. We're on all of our networks tonight. So let's go through those networks. I want you to start liking the video, sharing the video. Make sure you say good evening in the chat area. And let's get this party started right. Facebook, good evening to you. So good to see you virtually, Facebook. Those of you that are tuned in on Facebook, thank you so much for joining us. If you're tuned in on Facebook, do me a favor. Make sure you say good evening in the chat area. After you say good evening in the chat area, I want you to do me another favor. I want you to like this video. If you really enjoy our broadcast, I want you to hit that like button, hold it down, turn it to a love button. I want you to hit that share button, hit the @ symbol, and then I want you to tag 5 of your friends and tell them to jump on in tonight for virtual life study. It is Tuesdays, and Tuesdays are one of my favorite nights of the week. I truly enjoy. Teaching to you on Tuesday nights. And while Sunday, we appreciate church on Sundays, Tuesday is really where the growth is. Tuesday is really where the development is. And so I want you to make sure if you're on Facebook, say good evening in the chat area. Then I want you to hit that @ symbol, tag 5 of your closest friends, and tell them to tune in and join us on tonight. All right, would you do that for me? I will be so grateful for you if you did. Instagram, good evening to you. Those of you that are tuned in via Instagram, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're on Instagram, I want you to fill it up with hearts tonight. And then after you do that, I want you to make sure you say good evening in the chat area. And then after you say good evening in the chat area, because it's rude to come to church and not speak, I want you to hit that @ symbol right in the chat, the comment box. I want you to hit that @ symbol, and I want you to tag 5 of your closest friends and tell them to tune in tonight and let them know that we're on the air tonight, and we would love to see their presence here. All right. So thank you so much, Instagram, for tuning in. Welcome tonight, and we're so glad to have you. YouTube, good evening to you. Those of you that are tuned in via YouTube, thank you so much for joining us for being a part of this broadcast tonight, for watching us on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can find us on YouTube at TheREHABCC. Just type in TheREHABCC. You can find us there on YouTube. We want you to find us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button so that you can be notified, and that bell notification or that little bell button so that you can be notified every time we go live. And then I want you to like this video. I want you to hit that share button and share this video. Maybe you can send it to your social media. Maybe you can email the link to someone. But I want you to share this video with someone so that somebody can get this awesome teaching tonight. The danger of focusing on negative things is what we're dealing with. Part number 2. And I'm so excited to be here with you tonight and so grateful that you've tuned in to join us wherever you are. Listen, y'all, I've gone through the networks. I've got 7:14 p.m. Eastern time, and I've gone through the networks. And so let's go ahead and get right into the message tonight. And I want to share this with you. Listen, where we left off last week, we talked about Philippians chapter 4, verses 4 through 6 last week. Philippians chapter 4. Verses 4 through 6. And I want you to type the subject in the chat area, the danger of focusing on negative things, right? You don't have to put the part 2, but I do want you to put in the chat area, the danger of focusing on negative things. Put that in the chat area. It's in the comments, wherever you are, wherever you're watching tonight. And as always, you're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler all week long. But I want you to put it there. Now, we left off 2 weeks ago talking about Philippians chapter 4, verse 4 through 6 is where we were. Philippians chapter 4, verse 4 through 6. And we talked about this connection between worrying and praying, and then how praying really becomes ineffective when we worry. And that's so important for you to understand. I don't ever want you to lose sight of the fact that anytime you attempt to pray and ask God for anything, your praying to God becomes ineffective when you worry and pray at the same time. I want you to record that. Praying becomes ineffective when you worry and pray at the same time. Hurry, type it. Praying becomes ineffective when you worry and pray at the same time. All right. And I don't care who you are and how powerful you are. I want you to write this down and record it again. Praying becomes ineffective when you worry and pray at the same time. And so many people aren't getting their prayers answered. They're not seeing results in their life. They're not seeing things come into fruition in their lives because out of the same mouth that they pray, they're complaining, right? Out of the same mouth that they pray, they're worrying. Out of the same mouth that they speak in tongues, they're crying, right? And I get it. Everybody has moments. You have moments. Even the strongest people can go through life circumstances. Lord knows I've gone through some things over the last couple of years. And even the strong of us can go through things that can cause you to cry, that can cause you to get emotionally caught up in a moment or in a season or in a bad season. It can happen to anybody, but understand this. You better hurry up and shake that off. Okay? You got to hurry up and shake that off because you cannot worry and pray at the same time. Because what happens is that when you attempt to use the same mouth that you prayed with to worry, one of them cancels out the other, right? Prayer is supposed to cancel out worry. But if worry is present, worry will cancel out prayer. And so you cannot worry and pray at the same time. This is so critically important. And again, I don't want you to lose sight of this because, again, so many times we do that. And again, we dealt with that 2 weeks ago. Philippians 4, verse 6. Don't worry about anything, but instead pray about everything, right? And when you do that, you tell him what you need, you thank him for what he's done, then that's when you really consider a peace, or you end up having a peace that surpasses your own understanding. So again, you cannot worry, you cannot pray at the same time. That's the very first point I want you to get here because it's so critically important. Now, let's pick up here because I want to wrap up Philippians 4, verses 4 through 9. We did 4 through 6 2 weeks ago. I want to wrap up Philippians 4, chapter 4, verse 7 and 8 tonight. And then we got to shift gears back to Isaiah 55 to tie it all together, and then I'm done. All right? Look at this. Philippians 4, verse 7 and 8. All right? Philippians 4, verse 7 and 8. I'm in the New Living Translation. Okay? Philippians 4, verse 7 and 8. Man, I feel great. I'm tired physically, but I feel great tonight. I really feel like teaching this. All right? Philippians 4, Verse 7 through 8, New Living Translation says this. Then, after you don't worry, right? After you don't worry about anything, after you pray about everything, after you tell God what you need and you thank Him for what He's done, look at what happens in verse 7. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and minds as you live in Christ Jesus. So, what Paul is telling us is that then peace is the byproduct of praying without worrying and telling God what you need. That's a mouthful, but I got to give you that again. I hope I can remember that. I didn't even put that in my notes, but that's good. I want you to record this. Peace is the byproduct of praying without worrying while you tell God what you need. That's probably the longest sentence I've ever given y'all. All right. Peace is the byproduct of praying without worrying while telling God what you need. All right. This is so powerful, y'all. Peace is the byproduct of praying without worrying while telling God what you need. So you can tell God what you need and you can pray, but if you worry, it ain't going to work. It's just as simple as that, right? Peace is the byproduct of praying without worrying while telling God what you need. That's so powerful, all right? And when we understand that formula, here we go. Listen to me. When we understand that formula, then we get it. Wait a minute. When I not only worry, but I allow my mind to wander into spaces called negativity and in negative spaces and in the negative crevices of my life. When I allow my mind to wander there, it is really impossible to experience peace and worry at the same time, or experience peace and think negative at the same time. Let me tell you why a lot of people don't have peace. You ready for this? A lot of people don't have peace, not because they're not good people. A lot of people don't have peace because they always think about negative things. They always allow negativity, negative situations, negative thoughts, negative doubts, whatever. They allow all of these negative aspects to impact their lives. And you cannot have peace when your focus is always on the bad, right? And it's really that simple. You think bad things, you experience bad things. You think good things, you experience good things. It's really that simple. And so many people are really struggling. They're struggling to find peace in their lives. And really, their number one enemy to peace is really the thoughts that are in their mind. It's really the thoughts that are in their spirit, right? Because we all understand this, that when negative thoughts enter into your mind, this is important, and I want you to record this. This is in my notes. When negative thoughts enter into your mind, it impacts your spirit. Record it. When negative thoughts enter into your mind, let me make this a little bit bigger. When negative thoughts enter into your mind, it impacts your spirit. Some people got off spirits because their thoughts are off. You know, the things they think about, the things they meditate on, the things that they um, uh, simmer over are all negative things, right? When negative thoughts begin to enter your mind and they live there. Let me put that caveat there. You don't have to rewrite this part of it, but I do want to quantify this because it's more than just negative thoughts coming into your mind. It's human. You're human. If you are human, and we all are, you're going to experience seasons where negative thoughts come into your mind. So I don't want to minimize or rather discount the presence of humanity, right? We're all human. You're going to think negative things. If you say you never do, you're telling a lie, right? You're going to think negative things. If you are human, you're going to think negative things. We all are. Negative things are going to enter into your spirit, but they only enter into your spirit when the negative thoughts begin to live there. And that's where so many people mess up. People mess up not because they're thinking negative thoughts per se, they mess up because they allow those negative thoughts to literally live in their lives. You can't let negative thoughts live in your mind. You can't let negative thoughts pay rent in your mind, right? Folk only pay rent in spaces where they live. Y'all don't miss the revelation. I'm trying not to holler in this hotel. All right. I want to holler Zion. Come on, Zion, so bad. Right. People only pay rent in spaces where they live. And when negative thoughts live in your mind, they're paying rent in your mind. And when they begin to pay rent in your mind, it literally changes your spirit. It can literally change your countenance. It can literally change your demeanor, your posture. A lot of people got a negative posture or negative demeanor because they've allowed negative thoughts to pay rent in their mind. This is powerful, y'all. They've allowed negative thoughts to pay rent in their mind. They've allowed negative thinking, negative situations, negative circumstances, negative people, negative environments. They've allowed all these negative things to live rent free in their mind. And because they have, you see that then begin to permeate their spirit. Right? You see their countenance begin to be reflective of that. And so you got to be careful because your spirit will tell on you if your thoughts aren't right. Your spirit will tell on you. Y'all better listen to me. The old folks used to teach that. My grandmother, deceased grandmother, Mother Tally, so crazy. When she was living, she would sit in that little chair next to the pulpit in my dad's old church. And we would come out of the pulpit. I would go out with dad to get him together. And I would come back in to do the rest of my duties and serving him. And when I would come back in, normally to come in and get the keys, there was a certain set of keys that we would keep in there. We'll come and get. I would pass by her, and I would always stop and kiss her when I was coming in. But some Sundays, she would look at me and she didn't think something was right. She'd say, "Come here, boy," and she'd tell me to sit down, and I sit, and she would just literally lean up in her chair and just look me in my face. And it was one of the most intimidating things. It was one of the most intimidating things ever. She would literally sit there for about 5, 6 seconds and look me in my face. And I would try to look back at her in her face and try to keep it together. And some Sundays she'd be like, "Okay, I'm just checking on, make sure you're good." Or other Sundays she'd be like, "Yeah, I didn't think something was right with you. I hope everything's good." But those older saints, and it wasn't just saints. Yes, believers do this, and they still do this. Older believers, especially, but I mean just older people in general. Right? My PhD is in generational studies. The older generation could literally look you in your face and read your spirit. And I know some of you don't understand that. You probably never even heard of that before. But yeah, the older folks, yes, older saints, yes. I ain't minimizing the older saints, obviously. But just older people in general would just sit in and they would say things like, "Let me look you over." Some of y'all have never heard that before. "Come here, boy, let me look you over. Come here, girl, let me look you over." And what that meant is they want to look you in your face to see into your spirit, to peer into your spirit. So you got to be careful because when your thoughts are off, um, when your thoughts are negative, that stuff can bleed into your spirit and then in turn begin to tell on you, begin to reveal itself on you. You've got to be incredibly careful. And this is especially important um, to understand because there are a lot of people out here that are very sensitive to these things. There are people that have a sensitive gifts to being able to read spirits and read the minds and the hearts of other people, right? It ain't always prophetic. Some people don't necessarily have the prophetic gift, but they've got the ability to look at you and read what's going on with you, right? That's a gift. And so you've got to be careful to make sure that you don't allow the negative thoughts that you have entered into your mind or into your heart that have been sitting there. Again, I ain't talking about the normal ones that we all think. We all think normal thoughts, negative thoughts from time to time. I'm not going to sit up there in front. Pastor definitely thinks negative thoughts from time to time, especially when folk get on his nerves. I ain't going to lie. I'm being honest with you. We all think negative thoughts, but here's the thing: you can't live there because you see, because pastors is no exception to the rule. When you live there, that stuff then begins to permeate your spirit. It begins to impact your demeanor, begins to impact even possibly your character, right? And we're going to get to that in a second, right? Because when those negative thoughts begin to impact your spirit, then that then begins to impact your behavior. And then when your behavior is impacted, your ways are impacted. And so your ways end up being impacted by the negative things that just sit in your spirit, which is why you can't entertain everything. You can't entertain everybody. There's certain conversations you don't need to entertain. There are certain people that your time with them has long expired because they're negative. Everything about them is negative. When you're around them, you feel worse and not better. And these are all people that if they allow themselves, or if you allow them rather, to just sit and permeate into your spirit, it will impact the way you think. Is this making sense to anybody at all? All right. It will impact the way you think. And so you've got to guard those things. And if you do, then that's when God then will bombard your life, like in Philippians 4 and 7, with a peace that exceeds what you can't understand. And this is a great level of peace. I was sharing this with somebody. Um, Dang it, last week when I was in DC. I was sharing this with somebody in DC, and we were talking about some things. And one of the things that I share with her, as I said to her, is I'm really in a place in my life, in a space in my life where really unless I'm up worrying about some ideas or thinking about some things, and sometimes I was telling her, sometimes it's hard to cut my brain off sometimes. Sometimes it's easy. I'll hit the bed like tonight. I know when I leave here and I go get some dinner and come here, I'm gonna hit the bed and this gonna be over, right? But it's been a long travel day. And then there are other days where I'm thinking about things. I've got projects going on. I've got things going on. And I'm trying to figure out. I'm working on, and sometimes I hit the bed, and it takes some time. It takes some hours for me to wind down. Whether it takes hours for me to wind down or I hit the bed and I go right to sleep. Here's one thing that I have in common, that both those scenarios have in common, and that's this: that when you guard your thoughts for real, when you don't worry about stuff that you could worry about, when you pray about the stuff that you normally worried about, when you don't worry, you pray about it, you give it to God, you tell him what you need, and then you get out the way. I ain't kidding you. There is a peace that comes over your life that you can't put into words. And y'all, I have literally had enough adversity in my life, in my ministry, in my career, um, in my family. I've had enough adversity over the last 2, 3 years to literally have a nervous breakdown. And I can't explain the level of peace that I've experienced in my life, other than to say that somehow, some way, over the last couple of years, something clicked, and that is, Zeb, stuff that you're worrying about, you ain't gonna be able to fix. Why don't you try Philippians chapter 4, verse 6? Don't worry about nothing. Pray about everything. Tell me what you want, and then let me give you my peace in exchange. It's a powerful thing that happens. And see, we lose sight of that because all we do is worry about the stuff we can't fix. And all we do is have anxiety about the stuff that we can't fix. But that formula in Philippians 4 and 6 is powerful. When you worry less, pray more, and tell God what you want, he gives you in exchange peace. And that peace exchange then settles your spirit. And so then you don't allow the things that you're going through to show up in your spirit. You don't allow the things that you're experiencing to show up in your spirit. You don't allow the things that are up against you to begin to permeate through your spirit. Why? Because you really got a peace that not only doesn't make sense to other people, you got a peace that don't even make sense to you, right? You will literally find yourself feeling so peaceful that you'll have to pinch yourself. I was telling that young lady last week. Sometimes I have to pinch myself because the stuff I should be worrying about, I ain't thinking about. I'm being honest with y'all. I'm being completely honest with y'all. The stuff I should be worried about, not worried about at all. The stuff, let me take that back. The stuff that would normally concern normal people, right? The stuff that would normally worry normal people, the stuff that would normally bother normal people, those things don't bother me. Why? Because Philippians 4 and 6 is very true. When you worry less, pray more, and then tell God what you want, he gives you in exchange peace. So many of us are walking around in a peaceful place, not because there's not chaos around us, but we're walking around in a peaceful place because we've understood the formula of getting results, and that is not thinking negative things, worrying less, praying more, telling God what we want. It's that simple. Okay. And so then Philippians 4 and 7 won't be a lie. Look at this. Philippians 4 and 8. And then we got to switch gears and we're done. Look at this. Verse number 8. Philippians 4, verse 8. Watch this. And now, dear brothers and sisters, one final thing. Watch. Fix your thoughts on what is true and honorable and right and pure and lovely and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. Look at verse 9. Keep putting into practice all you learned and received from me, everything you heard from me and saw me doing. Here we go. Then the God of peace will be with you. So let's walk this thing all the way back. Philippians 4 and 6 says, like we said 2 weeks ago, don't worry about anything, pray about everything, tell God what you need. When you do that, he then gives you his peace that's greater than your own understanding. And then when he gives you peace, what am I to think about going forward? Verse number 8, think about stuff that's true. Think about stuff that's honorable. Y'all see how plain I'm making this? Think about stuff that's right. Think about stuff that's pure. Think about stuff that's lovely. Think about stuff that's admirable. Those words are powerful because if you really live your life according to Philippians 4 and 8, and you only allow yourself to think about stuff that's true, you're going to find a whole lot more peace in your life. Some folk ain't got no peace because all they do is think about stuff that ain't true. This is what has TMZ, a multi million dollar, might be even $1 billion company. You know why? Because they major in spreading gossip. And they figured out something. Now, let me take that back. They major in spreading gossip, but the gossip be true because TMZ is more accurate than some prophets that I know. I ain't kidding. TMZ tends to not get it wrong. Then when they break the story, and they tend to break the story right. Right. But the whole point is if you watch all of that stuff, I know people that have TMZ alerts. I got coworkers that have TMZ alerts that come to their phone. When you just feed yourself with that stuff all day, all day, all day, what kind of stuff do you think you're gonna think about? Where do you think your thoughts are gonna land? Right? But look at what Paul says in Philippians 4 and 8. Fix your thoughts on what's true. Fix your thoughts on what's honorable. Right? Fix your thoughts on things that are right, not crazy, not wrong. Fix your things on what's right. Fix your thoughts on things that are pure. Fix your thoughts on things that are lovely. Fix your thoughts on things that are admirable. Right? You got to fix your thoughts on those things, and when you do, and think about those things, then you're going to see that you're going to have a different level of peace in your life. Let me tell you something. I was laughing because I was on the plane on the way out here. I got back Saturday night around, I don't know, maybe 10:15. Got home Saturday night around 10:15 from DC. I had Sunday at home, had Monday at work, right back on the plane this morning. And and I was laughing because I got Wi-Fi on the plane. And when I purchased the Wi-Fi on the plane, I wanted to do it because I wanted to watch a little bit of um, YouTube. I normally watch YouTube videos every single day. I wanted to watch some YouTube, and I finally got up to cruising altitude to take out my airplanes, put in my earphones, and I bought internet on the plane. When I bought the internet on the plane, I pulled up YouTube, and the thing about YouTube is if you watch YouTube, and I'm sure most of you do, you watch YouTube, what YouTube will show you on your home screen is a reflection of what you've been watching, right? So I can grab any of your YouTube accounts. If any of you have YouTube accounts, and especially if you have, well, if any of you watch YouTube, but especially if you have a YouTube account, right? You log into that account and you watch things, then it captures what you watch in your history. And then from your history, the algorithm builds things that goes out and finds videos that it thinks you might like based on what you watch, right? So what you see on your home screen, bear with me, this example is going to knock your socks off. Y'all, if I went in this hotel, I'd be screaming right now because this is good. The algorithm on YouTube, the homepage, builds up your watch ideas, video ideas based on what you have been entertaining. The only things that show up on your YouTube home screen are a reflection of the things you entertain. Are y'all catching this? And so in the social media world, they call that algorithms, right? Algorithms. And what algorithms are in the social media world is algorithms are created. They are mathematical formulas that bases what you watch, takes what you watch, and based on those formulas, goes out into the social media space and pulls videos that reflect your watch history, that reflect your search preferences, right? This explains how, and I don't know if any of you have had this happen before, and this is real creepy. It happens to me all the time. Explains how you can literally, like, I could walk into this hotel and have all of my devices off. And let's say my phone rings and I'm talking to somebody on the phone about getting Japanese food, right? I can be on the phone. I can walk in my hotel, be on the phone, and talk to somebody on my cell phone about Japanese food, and then log into YouTube and see an ad on Japanese food, right? Besides the fact that I think social media is listening to us and watching us 24/7. because I really believe that. Um, and I'm not gonna hit y'all too much with a lot of my crazy theory, but I do. I believe that. Besides the fact that I believe that, I also know about social media algorithms, and that is nothing shows up in your social media search history that is not a reflection of what's not already in your spirit. So when I logged into YouTube on the plane on the way here, I was laughing because I saw a lot of boxing clips. I watch a lot of boxing, old boxing matches. I love boxing; it's one of my favorite sports. Um, I had a lot of clips on Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is by far my most favorite comedian. And so I had a lot of Dave Chappelle clips. I had a few church clips here and there. Um, I had a couple of other clips, Tony Robbins, some other folks, motivational speakers that I listened to as well. A few preachers that I listened to clips come up, and it was good. It felt good. I was, sitting in the seat and I was scrolling. I just kind of laughed to myself because I was like, wow, man, my spirit is in a pretty good place. And I was basing that just scrolling up YouTube. I didn't have a lot of junk in there. I had no videos with girls on there twerking. I didn't, I had no crazy world star stuff. And I'm not saying world star can't have good stuff or good content. I just don't spend a lot of time there. Right. I scrolled up on my homepage and it was really a reflection of what was in my spirit. And the same thing applies in your life. When you think, fix your thoughts on things that are true, honorable, right, pure, lovely, and admirable. What you will begin to see reflected into your spirit is a reflection of your thoughts, a reflection of what you feed yourself, which is why y'all can't watch everything. You can't entertain everything. You can't entertain everybody. You can't. And sometimes those bodies include family members. They include close friends, church folks you grew up with. You can't entertain everybody. Why? Because as things begin to permeate your spirit, they begin to not only reflect in your watch history, they begin to show up in your algorithms. Man, this is a whole word, man. I feel like screaming in here. Are y'all listening to me? Let me ask y'all a rhetorical question. It's not one for you to answer. What's showing up in your algorithm? When you think about your life, what's showing up in your algorithm? What is showing up in your watch history? Meaning, what's showing up in the things that you've been entertaining? How are the things you've been entertaining in your life showing up in your life? Because I'm here to tell you, you ain't gonna entertain stuff over and over and over again in your life and not expect to see those things be reflective in your life. I ain't talking about accidentally hitting something. You might be in YouTube, type something wrong, and accidentally get a different video and click on that and watch 2 or 3 seconds of it and then come off of it. I'm not talking about that because that ain't long enough to capture stuff. But things can't be imprinted into the algorithm until you have spent time watching the videos. And the same thing works for your spirit. It's hard for things to be imprinted in your spirit if you have not spent significant time there. And some of the things that you are thinking about, that you are focusing on as it relates to your negative thoughts and your negative way of thinking are a reflection of the fact that you have spent significant periods of time in these negative spaces. Y'all not listening. Y'all ain't feeling me tonight. But I'm telling you, this stuff is powerful. You've got to change what you think about, and you got to think about those things that are excellent. Look at what Paul says in verse 8. Think about those things that are excellent. Think about those things that are worthy of praise. Think about those things that are positive. I get so to the point now, I don't even respond to negative people. Literally, I have left so many people on red over the last 2 years. You know why? Because I ain't got time to respond to nobody that's negative. I don't care who you are. You can be family, you can be friend, you can be foe, you can be enemy, frenemy, church member. It don't matter. If you negative, ain't got time to respond to that foolishness. And so you got to learn how to guard your spirit. Some of us mess up because we try to be open and appealing and connected to everybody, and we end up sacrificing our spirit in the name of access. Woo! I want you to record this. Record this. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler for the rest of this week. Never sacrifice your spirit in the name of access. Good God from Zion. That ain't in my notes. I got to record that. Good God. Never sacrifice. Oh, they didn't hear me, Elder Misty. Never sacrifice your spirit in the name of access. I could literally get up and run around this hotel. Never sacrifice your spirit in the name of access. And some of you have literally pimped and hold out your spirit because you wanted to be accessible, you wanted to be liked, you wanted to be reachable, you wanted to be touchable. And in the meantime, Everything you open your spirit to left an impression on your spirit, and your spirit ain't been right since. I ain't got no help tonight. I feel like I'm teaching in a black hole. Never sacrifice your spirit in the name of access. And some of you have literally hoed, HOE'. You have hoed, and I know the word ain't hoe, is whore. We from the streets. You have hoed your spirit in the name of being connected to things, in the name of having access to things, and that stuff has placed an imprint on your spirit. And because it has placed an imprint on your spirit, now your thoughts are off. Now your emotions are off. Now your spirit is off. Now these things are off about. And I'm telling you, you should never sacrifice your spirit just so folk can have access to you, just so things can have access to you. You are better off letting people talk about you because you didn't show up than showing up all the time and your spirit being off in the process. There are a whole lot of places that I would love to have come, that I'd love to visit. I would love, there are a lot of things I would love to be a part of, but I ain't stupid. I know that there are certain spaces I cannot be around because if those things get deep imprints in my spirit, it's over. See, and many people aren't honest with themselves on that level. They're not honest. They're not honest with themselves on that level. And so I'm telling you, you should never sacrifice your spirit in the name of access. It's getting hot outside. It's family reunion time. Folk gonna want to be around you. Old cousins gonna want to connect. Old family members gonna want to connect. Old boo's gonna want to connect. It's getting hot outside. The temperature's going up. Dude shirts getting tighter. Ladies skirts getting shorter. Now, all of this stuff is going to happen, but I'm telling you something. You better listen to me. You never sacrifice your access or sacrifice your spirit in the name of access. It's better off that people draw wrong conclusions about you than to be around you and you let what's on their spirit infiltrate yours. I would rather people think I'm stuck up, funny acting. I think I'm better than everybody else, think I'm all of that. As travel season, I was laughing at some of the things that told me uh, last year about the time I was traveling. Folks really upset I was traveling. Y'all better cut my social media stories off now. I'm on trip number 3 of 9 this summer. It's gonna be, I'm traveling all summer. I don't care who don't like it. But I would far rather people think I'm stuck up, funny acting, think I'm better than everybody else, think I'm whatever, than to be just around negative, backbiting, two-faced, phony people. Listen, why do y'all hang around two-faced people and think you ain't gonna be two-faced? Huh? Why do you hang around people who are backbiters and think you ain't gonna be no backbiter? How? I never understood. I never understood why people put themselves in a position to compromise their spirit and then get surprised when their spirit get compromised. Look, y'all, you can say everything you want to say about Magic City in Atlanta. Everybody ain't going to Magic City in Atlanta to get some wings. Y'all not listen. Man, I want to scream, come on, Zion, so bad. I just wish somebody could just, wherever you are, just scream out, come on, Zion for me real good. Because I want to scream it in this nice hotel so bad. Yeah, everybody ain't going to Magic City to get wings. You go to Magic City to see strippers. Period. And when you hang around backbiters, you end up around backbiters, you end up becoming what you are around. Y'all, y'all stop the foolishness. And I'm talking about, and I want to make this very clear. I'm talking about doing it for significant periods of time. I'm not talking about, witnessing or having folks in your family that you're hanging with them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some of y'all run the road with them, you sleep with them, you hang with them, and you get surprised when these things get imprinted into your spirit, but they absolutely can. Right? Me and the same young lady were talking at this conference last week, and we were talking about, she was telling me, sharing one of her favorite stories about Jesus in the New Testament. It's a powerful story. And I share with her my favorite story, one of my favorite stories, which is really the woman at the well, who had multiple, thank you, Elder Misty, who had multiple husbands, who met Jesus at the well. She was a whole hoe. She had not just one husband, she had multiple husbands. And Jesus didn't handle her like that. Jesus spent time with her, and the lady was nervous because the lady was like, Jews ain't got no business dealing with Samaritans. And the lady was nervous, and Jesus wasn't nervous. He was around her. He spent time with her to witness to her, to put her at ease. I'm not talking about that. Because see, some of y'all take this to the extreme. Some of y'all say, and then you think you can't go around nobody unsaved. And then you become super saved. You become super saints. You become holier than thou, better than everybody else. And you can go to hell too. Folks like you can bust hell wide open too. Jesus didn't even operate that way. And that was the conversation that she and I had. I don't get how church people get all nervous around unchurched people, but Jesus hung with sinners. Y'all don't want to have this conversation. Man, I feel like teaching for hours, man. Jesus hung with sinners. And here you are, because you didn't spoke in tongues, you didn't wore your white on Pentecost Sunday, and you didn't pass out, and you didn't been in church for 4 hours. You think all of a sudden you too good to speak to somebody because you smell a little bit of alcohol on that breath? Are you too good to speak to somebody because you smell a little bit of black and mild on that breath? I'm sitting there walking to the hotel and walking through downtown, got off the train, walked through downtown, and I've never seen so many homeless people in an area in my life. And I'm in a very nice area downtown, um, and never seen so many homeless people. And the crazy thing is, I'm sitting on the train, and one of the guys comes on. No, he had on flip flops, no socks, terrible looking pants. It was very dirty. He came in, he had like 3 bags of chips in his hand and a candy bar. The dude sat 2 seats up from me. And when he sat there, he turned around, grabbed one of his bags of chips, and said, "Sir, would you like some chips?" The bag wasn't open. It was completely sealed. He said, "Sir, would you like some of my chips?" I said, "No, sir. I really appreciate you offering those to me." I said, "I hope you're having a great day, man." He said, "Man, I am. I can't complain." I'm looking at him like, you got every reason to complain. Holes in your shirt, holes in your jeans. You ain't got no socks. You barely got shoes on. You look like you ain't ate in days. And you offered me a bag of your chips. Meanwhile, we got church Negroes. I wanted to say the other N word, but I'll say that for when I see y'all. We got church Negroes that walk around, that speak in tongues, and do this every now and then, and they act like they can't even be around folk. Are y'all kidding me? So let's not get this twisted. I'm not suggesting you can't be around unsaved people or you can't converse with. I'm here at this conference, this event. This is a business trip for me. This one is a business trip for me. And man, I'm going to have some amazing conversations with some amazing people all across this country. And I'm excited about it. This is work for me. I'm excited about it. But listen, some of them are going to be turning up. And I'm not going to be like, listen, man, put that up. Come on, man. You've got to be able. You've got to be able to be all things to all people, even without compromising who you are. And understand that the only way those things become imprinted in your spirit is when you allow those things to permeate your spirit over long periods of time. So you got to change what you think. You got to change about what you think, how you've been thinking it, when you've been thinking it. Because when these things permeate your spirit, they can impact you. And again, this includes access by people. I've made up in my mind. I'll share this finally, and then I'm going to share 3 more verses with you, and then I'm done. I was sharing this same thing. Me and this young lady, we had a nice conversation. It was about an hour and a half conversation last week, and talking to several colleagues at this event that I had to facilitate in DC. And one of the things we were talking about, it's just how the world is transitioning, with post COVID. They're now saying there are more variants that's coming out. They're going to probably be variants for the rest of our lives. So that's whatever. But all of these things are coming out. But we were talking about how life is going to be different once people really get outside, right? You're starting to see a lot more of that now. And one of the things that I shared with her is I said, listen, I'm going to be a whole lot more guarded with my access. I'm going to be a whole lot more guarded with that. And people can think what they want to think. I don't care. One of the things that I learned over this COVID season that we're in is that if you're not careful, you can try to be all things to all people, and in the process, end up giving so much access that you end up ruining your own spirit. I don't know how I'm teaching you. Y'all better listen to me tonight. And so that's one of the things I'm doing, and I don't care who don't like it. I'm going to be more guarded about my access. Why? Because I'm super sensitive to the fact that when you have experienced things in your life, you simply cannot allow yourself to become subject or be around just anything or anybody. You have to be very intentional about what you choose. You choose it. Don't let people choose it for you. If people come into your atmosphere, into your environment, and their spirits aren't right, you don't have to stick there. Walk away. Change your number. Do something, but you don't have to do those things. And I've discovered this, that when you become more guarded with your access and the access that you allow into your life, I've discovered that people then tend to not take having access to you for granted. See, people, man, I ain't got time to deal with this, man. I could just do a live on this tonight. People will take having access to you for granted when they got access. They'll take your life for granted. They'll take your gift. Some of you are gifted, you're talented, your business is flourishing, you're doing all kinds of things. And people will take all of those things about your life for granted when you just give them unlimited access. You want to get some of that back? You want to put some more value, you want to return that value back on your life? Pull back the access. Pull back the access. Set some office hours. Y'all don't like the way I'm talking here, because when you do that, you then begin to regain control of your spirit. How? Because you begin to regain control of the things that you allow to permeate into your spirit. Is this making sense to anybody? All right, really quickly. All right, really quickly. All right, don't y'all forget that though. Never access your spirit in the name of access. That's or sacrifice your spirit in the name of access. That was powerful. Real quickly, Isaiah chapter 55, verse 9 through 11. 9 through 11, New Living Translation. Quickly. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 9 through 11, New Living Translation. This is what we taught on Sunday. I want to teach this really quickly, share this with you really quickly, okay? Look at this. For just as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts, here we go, higher than your thoughts. Verse 10, the rain and snow come down from the heavens and stay on the ground to water the earth. It causes the grain to grow, producing seed for the farmer and bread for the hungry. Verse 11, it is the same with my word. Listen to me. It is the same with my word. I send it out and it always produces fruit. It will accomplish what all I want it to, and it will prosper everywhere I Send it. It's so powerful how Isaiah 55, 9 through 11 connects with Philippians 4, verse 4 through 9, because the reality is, the prophet Isaiah says, listen, my thoughts ain't like your thoughts. My ways aren't like your ways. Um, and the same is true with my word. Everything that I say concerning my word cannot return to me void. It has to accomplish what I set it out to accomplish. So then, if the words that we speak accomplishes what we send it out for, then we've got to understand the correlation between our thoughts and the words we speak. Because if our words, I hope I'm explaining this good, y'all. Forgive me, I ain't had dinner. I had nothing to eat today yet. So y'all forgive me. I'm trying to explain this as clear as I can. If your words will then always produce fruit. What Isaiah says in chapter 55, verse 11. If the words that we send out will never return void, but will always produce that which it will set out to do. And we know that our thoughts, as we think our thoughts, will then impact our behavior and can even impact our words, then the same deductively can be said that our thoughts have the ability to produce fruit, right? Because thoughts can become things, become words, become actions, and those things can translate into fruit. You've got to be careful, because the things you think can very much become a part of your reality. Listen to me. This is why you got to guard your thoughts. This is why you got to guard what you watch. This is why you got to guard what you entertain. This is why you got to guard who you allow text you, to call you. Your thoughts have the ability to become things in your life. And so you've got to guard your thoughts. They can produce fruit, they can produce new seasons in your life, they can tear down seasons in your life. Not just words, but also our thoughts. Why? Because again, and I've already proved this early in the broadcast, go back and watch it. The more we think certain thoughts in our lives, the more we allow certain thoughts to linger in our lives, and those thoughts become impressions on our spirits, then those thoughts begin to translate into actions in our lives, behaviors in our lives, seasons in our lives. You've got to be incredibly careful about what you think, because again, the connection between thoughts, words, behaviors, actions, and fruit are so powerful. Yes, your thoughts can produce fruit. They can. So you got to guard your thoughts. this bless anybody, y'all? I'm out of time. I'm not out of word. Listen, I swear I could teach for another hour on this. This is powerful. Did this bless anybody tonight at all? For real? Don't play with me. If this blessed anybody tonight at all, listen, I certainly hope that it did. Now, this is a powerful word. I want you to go back as you're reading Psalms 23. Remember, Psalms 23 is our verse, our scripture chapter for the week. You should be reading and meditating on Psalms chapter 23 all week long. Had a great suggestion on that Sunday, and we'll be implementing that going forward. We used to do that somewhat back in the day and want to continue to do that, especially in this virtual format. So make sure you're meditating on Psalms 23 all week long. But also, as you're also doing that, I want you to also keep in mind that you've got to guard your thoughts this week, right? Don't let things creep into your thoughts and allow those things that creep into your thoughts, into your mind, to begin to impact your behavior, your attitude, your posture, your disposition. You got to guard those things. And listen, guard them by any means necessary. Don't let people take your joy. Don't let family steal your joy. Don't let coworkers steal your joy. Don't let folks you in relationships with steal your joy. Don't you do it. You've got to guard your thoughts at all costs. And remember what Paul said in Philippians 4 and verse 8. Whatsoever things, the King James Version, which so many people like to read, I like that version actually. I like the King James Version of that text. He doesn't say fix your thoughts, but he says, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honorable, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report. I like that one. If there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. I like the way the King James Version has of it, because it says, if you don't think about anything worth thinking about, think about that stuff. And that's what I want to challenge you all to do this week. Really guard your thoughts and make sure that you catch yourself when you see your mind lingering off into negativity or negative spaces and living there. I want you to catch that and bring those thoughts back into subjection, so that you can be mindful of not only your thoughts, but so that those thoughts then don't permeate and become a part of who you are. Listen, I want to challenge you. If you've got a prayer request tonight, quickly, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to do this really quickly. I don't want to rush through this part. I'm going to give you 30 seconds really quickly. You've got a prayer request, something you want me to pray over. I want you to type it in the comments now. Every morning, 4:30 in the morning, I get up, I pray over your prayer request. It was my intention to get up at 2 this morning to catch my flight. I had a 6:30 flight out of Charlotte, and I overslept. I woke up at 3:36 and barely made it to the airport on time. Just exhausted. It's been a grueling 2 weeks, and it's going to be a grueling next couple of weeks, but it's all good. But I'm still going to get up, sticking to the script, praying over your prayer requests. I'm going to be getting up in the morning, praying over your requests. And so if you've got anything you want me to pray over, anything concerning your life, your family, your business, your career, I want you to type it in the comments, or you can email it to me. You can send it to info@rehabcc.org and put it in the subject line prayer request. That's info@rehabcc.org. Put in the subject line prayer request, and that email will automatically route to me, and we will take a look at that and certainly be praying over your prayer requests all week long. All right. But I want to pray for you quickly. Connect your hands like this as a sign of symbol of faith. I want you to touch and agree with me. All right. Touch and agree with me concerning your prayer requests. I want you to touch and agree with me. Good. Very good. That God would certainly make a way. And I know he's going to do it. Come on, connect your hands like this as a sign of symbol of faith. Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, I thank you tonight for your word. Thank you, man, for speaking to us the way you have, for teaching us the importance of our thoughts and how our thoughts really become things in reality, as realities in our lives. Help us, God, to focus our thoughts and our mind on things that are lovely, that are pure, that are just, that are honorable, that are of good report. So that those thoughts then begin to translate into meaningful experiences in our lives. God, we are not perfect. We have moments, but help those moments to be far and few between. Minimize our moments, God, so you can maximize miracles in our lives. Minimize the moments in our lives so you can maximize the miracles in our lives. We want to be everything you've called us to be. And so we're believing you, God. We're trusting you, God, to help us guard our thoughts all week long so that we can be everything you've called us to be and more. Now, God, for every prayer request that's been typed in the live, that's been sent to our inbox, we lift them up to you right now. We ask now, God, that you would touch every single prayer request, every single sick body, every single broke home, every single broken business, every single broken body. We ask that you would touch these situations right now. Even those prayer requests that people have that are so deep that they can't type them, they can't find the words to say. God, we lift those thoughts up to you right now, that you would see the thoughts and the intentions of their hearts, the desires of their hearts, and that you would answer those prayers as only you can. God, I thank you because I know without a shadow of a doubt that the same way you have allowed the last 2, 3 weeks to be weeks, day after day, days of open doors and new miracles and just created new opportunities for me. I'm speaking that into the lives of your people now, that you would allow this week to be a week filled with miracles, open doors, made ways, um, unexpected promises, breakthroughs like never before. God, you did it for me. I want you to do it for your people this week so that, God, we can continue to give your name all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise that it's due. God, we count these things done and we believe you for. In Jesus' name, amen. Come on, type it in the comments quickly. It is so. If you prayed that prayer of faith, I want you to put it in the comments quickly. It is so. It is so. I'm praying for you. I am believing God for you. I am hoping that God will certainly make ways for you and open doors for you as only He can. Come on. I want you to type it in the comments quickly. It is so. 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 Come on, quickly. It is so. It is so. It is so. Come on, quickly. It is so. Thank you so much. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. I know God's going to answer your prayers. He's going to make ways for you. I saw your prayer sister, Ashley. He's going to, send scholarship money. He's going to do these things. Whatever your situation is, I know God's going to do it. And here's the crazy thing: we pray and seek God not for the things He does. We pray and seek Him because He's just a great God. And when you adopt that attitude, then you see great things really begin to happen in your life. Listen, I want to challenge you quickly to give. If this message, this ministry has been a blessing to you, I want to challenge you quickly to give tonight. You can be a blessing to our ministry via Cash App, $REHABCC give, through our website, www.rehabcc.org, and simply choose online giving. All right, simply choose online giving. Great news, Sister Asher. That's awesome. Simply choose online giving, or you can text Rehab Works to 336-642-3210. I got tongue tied. 336-642-3210. Again, you can give via Cash App, $RehabCC give. That's $RehabCC give. Our website, www.rehabcc.org, and simply choose online giving, or you can text Rehab Works to 336-642-3210. And you can give either one of those three ways. And I promise you, God's going to bless you. How? Good measure, pressed down, shaking together, running over. He's literally going to send somebody into your life to be a blessing to your life because of the way you've given. And man, I'm so excited about that. So excited about the great things He's doing in your life. Listen, y'all, I love y'all. I really do. I mean it sincerely. I love you. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. I want you to have a fantastic week. And do me a favor, make plans to meet us this Sunday right here, 9:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The word has been better and better and better every single week. I want you to make plans to meet us here. And then also, make sure you share this video. Do me a favor. Yeah, we share Sunday. So many people share Sunday's video. I appreciate that. Not minimizing that. I want you to share Tuesday night life study. Tuesday really is the fuel that we need to have productive weeks every single week. And I want you to share this video if you would. Do me a favor, share it on your social media. I would really appreciate it. Help us get the word out about the awesome teaching that takes place here. And then make plans to meet me this Sunday, 9:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at the Rehab Christian Center. Thank you, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, to all of our visitors that have tuned in on all of your networks. I really hope and pray that you've enjoyed this message. And then I want you to make plans to join us this Sunday, 9:08 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I love you guys. I'm praying for you. I'm rooting for you. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you on Sunday. Peace and blessings.
For watching the Rehab Christian Center live experience. If this broadcast has been a blessing to you and you would like to be a blessing to our leader, Dr. Zeb Talley III, you can sow a seed into his ministry by Cash App at $Pastor ZT3. It is our prayer that this message of hope encourage, enlighten, and empower you to be better. Please tune in Sunday at 9:08 a.m. for our Sunday morning experience. And as always, be blessed and have a wonderful week.